welcome back to another edition of the Wednesday Creative Check-In here at Thought Bubble with Jay. I've been asking a lot of artists to be on the pod, and this one in particular has been so generous to agree to do this with me despite her busy schedule with the people that she's coaching. And we'll touch on that later in a bit. But I invited her because I think her story is powerful and inspiring, and she will take you through the journey of how she started, what made her do it, and where she is right now in her career, not just a calligrapher, but as a coach. So please welcome to the show, Dina Lu of Dina Calligraphy. Hi,
Hi, thanks
Dina.
for having
Hello.
me. I'm
Welcome to the
excited.
show. I love your hair again. Just going to say.
Thank you.
So, Dina, you're based in Canada, right?
Yes, in
And
Vancouver.
can you tell us more about yourself, what you've been doing, when you started doing calligraphy, and how you ended up being a coach to a lot of people in the calligraphy industry?
Yeah, well, those are some big questions. I hope I don't talk too much, but I'll give you the overview.
Yeah.
So I grew up here in Vancouver, Canada, and I guess let's start from the beginning. So I went to university. I went to university here. After university, I got a pretty normal office job. It was like a government office job, and then 1 year into that, I kind of discovered calligraphy just randomly on Pinterest. Um, and at the time, I was really into the idea of having a side business. So I thought, oh, calligraphy is so beautiful. Let me just go out and buy some pens. And at the same time, my mom was having some mental health problems and she was hospitalized. And after she got discharged out of the hospital, I thought, now I have this calligraphy side business idea. Well, what if I try to get my mom involved and maybe she can like paint and like draw things and then we can like sell cards together.
Mhm.
So for everyone watching on YouTube, you can see the cards right here. These are the 4 cards that I made with my mom, the Christmas ones. But we basically, I did the calligraphy, she did the art. Our business name was Jenny D Creative. Her name is Jenny and I'm Dina. So I just named it Jenny D Creative. And that was my first side business. And so that was in 2018. So come 2019, I thought, okay, maybe I can do something more with this calligraphy stuff. And I thought, oh, why don't I start teaching workshops? And trust me, I had it wasn't that easy. I had a ton of imposter syndrome,
Mhm.
but I just first hosted like a workshop for my friends in my house. And then I started hosting some like small workshops for the
Mhm.
public. So a few months passed and I did about 2 to 4 workshops every month. And this was after work. And then I decided to quit my job, which is kind of a long story, but I quit my job and I just taught workshops full time. I burnt out after a couple months. I wanted to become a coach. We can talk about this more later.
Mhm.
And about after 6 months of quitting my job, that's when I actually started coaching calligraphers because I got some more experience like being a calligrapher and running a full-time business.
Mhm.
So I started coaching people one-on-one, and then I developed a group coaching program called the Calligraphy Business Accelerator. And so since then, I've run that program 4 times. We're on the 4th time now. Yeah, hope
Wow.
that was a good summary.
That was a really good summary. I mean, I want to break it down so that
Yeah.
people can internalize journey and those phases that you've been through throughout this calligraphy journey of yours. So let's start off when you decided. I'd like to touch on you when you said that at the time that your mom was having mental issues. For most people, when they are going through, and I'm speaking in general, like the default would be, I don't know what to do. Instead of doing something else, they would be stuck in that particular situation. So what was the motivation to do something creative out of that situation?
Yeah, I think it was just the combination of me really wanting like a side business. I've always wanted to have some kind of a side business. Plus, when my mom got discharged, she didn't have a job and she
Mhm.
was not really doing anything at home, but she has a lot of painting supplies and she likes painting. So I thought, I just wonder, maybe I can do this. Like I wasn't sure like it would work out. I just thought maybe. Like I just had the idea.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I have the idea, might as well just try it out and see what happens. I guess when I tell the story of like when I started to do calligraphy and start this business with my mom, it sounds like a very happy story,
Mhm.
but actually at the time, like it was a pretty hard time.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, because I'm the only child and my parents are divorced. So I'm basically like the only one who can take care of her, and her entire family are in China.
Mhm.
So here in Vancouver, I'm basically like the only one. I'm like her main,
Mhm.
I guess, contact person, right?
Yeah.
Like the closest person to her. So it wasn't an easy time, and because I was working at that time, it was really good. I had like benefits and I had access to a counselor, so I
Mhm.
was seeing the like a counselor like talking about how I could do things with my mom, how I can help my mom, because I really didn't know what to do and I didn't have any friends with like parents who had mental health issues. So I kind of felt alone in that time, but yeah, that's kind of the background.
It's inspiring. Really. I can't imagine being alone and you are the only person that your mom can rely on, and yet you pivot. You found something that could help you navigate through that season and at the same time involve your mom as well. So you created this business when you allowed her, because I think they said that art is very therapeutic. And I think I,
Mhm.
I want to believe that that really helped her. You know, you creating that business together, making art, and then turning it into a side hustle. So after that, that particular season, I know you mentioned that it has a different name. So what made you decide to change it to Dina Calligraphy?
Yeah, good question. So after we sold the cards
Yeah,
that
those are
Christmas,
really
I started
good
to do a
cards.
lot more workshops. And
Uh-huh.
so when I did the workshops, she wasn't really involved anymore. It kind of
I
just
see.
became my own thing.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people were confusing, like they thought my name was Jenny D. They
Yeah.
thought that's my name.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So then I thought, oh, it's kind of confusing, and my mom's like not really involved in the business, so
Mhm.
that's why I just changed the name to Dina
I see.
Calligraphy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So you started with cards and then you started teaching. And I think that lifts you up because you change the format of the business and dive into teaching more and more. Have you, I think I've seen that you partner with some brands as well. You would tap by a brand to do like on-site, was it on-site?
Like on-site events. A
On-site event.
couple, yeah, some of
Mhm.
them.
Uh-huh.
Some.
And then corporate workshop as well, like for companies or to teach. You've done that as well.
Yeah, that's actually the main thing I do now during
Mm.
COVID is
Oh, okay.
corporate workshops on Zoom. Not so much public ones. I
Yeah.
used to do way more public ones in person before COVID.
Uh-huh. Before
Yeah.
COVID. That's really, I mean, I wouldn't say that's really good that you're still teaching because of COVID, right? But that people are still willing to, I mean, finding things to do during COVID and they tap you to teach calligraphy, I mean, via online. Okay, so take me back to the time when you discovered that, hey, okay, I can teach calligraphy, but I think I can do more than that, which is to be a coach. So can you take us
Yeah,
to that,
so
that light bulb? I think I can teach people how to run a business and treat calligraphy as really like a full-time business.
yeah, I think it was around the time that I quit my job. That's when I had the idea. And
Uh-huh.
I was inspired because I have some other friends who became like business coaches, and
Uh-huh.
like I saw them helping people, and it was really fulfilling for
Mhm.
them. And I've always been a big fan of mentorship. So I've had mentors, and then I've mentored like young, like girls in high school and girls in university.
Mhm.
So I thought, oh, I really like I just like helping people in general. And with the calligraphy workshops, it's very tiring. Like if you do like 2 workshops a week, like you have to go there and then you have to set up and then you have to
Sure.
teach for 2.5 hours, and it's
Sure.
very tiring on the body. And I thought, oh, maybe I can help people and transition my business a little bit online. The other thing was I've always wanted to have an online business so I can
Mhm.
travel the world. That's my big dream.
Mhm.
So so I thought, okay, maybe I can start a coaching business, and that's entirely online and I can help people. So I had that idea right after I quit my job, but for the longest time I didn't do anything because I just felt not qualified to be a coach
Uh-huh.
until later on. That's when I hired my first coach, and then I became a coach. Yeah,
Okay.
after going through all of
After
my
go through
limiting
all,
beliefs and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's touch on that before we dive into the nitty-gritty of the coaching business. So
Sure.
you had doubts prior to really diving into being a coach. That's a very common
Yeah.
theme for all of us within the creative community, that every time you're about to start something, there's always this, am I really qualified to do this? Or do I, would they even listen? Would someone be willing to really pay for my services? I mean, can you take us through that thought process, Dina, and how you made the decision to hire another coach to help you with that journey?
Yeah, I had a ton of self-doubt. That's why I had the idea, and then I didn't do much.
Uh-huh.
I did so the I did do something. So when I had the idea, I thought maybe I can coach people for free. So I
Mhm.
actually coached 3 calligraphers for free for like a month or 2 months just to
Mhm.
try it out, 'cause I had no idea if I could do it.
Yeah.
So that's a tip for everyone who wants to start doing something. See if you can like do like a small version of it first.
Mhm.
You could do it for free or you could charge low, but try like a small version. I did the same when I had a lot of self-doubt teaching my first workshop. So I taught my friends first at my
Yeah,
house.
you
It's like a
mentioned. Yeah.
smaller version.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you can test it out. So I did that. I coached 3 people for free. And then and then I think my priority at that time was making money. So I ramped up on my workshops, and
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't focus too much on the coaching, but it was always at the back of my head.
Mhm.
So about 6 months after I quit my job, I thought, okay, I think maybe now is the time to start coaching. It was just after Christmas time, when like Christmas is like a big time for calligraphers
Mhm.
for like workshops and sales and like on-site events. So it was a quiet period after that. And I actually so this was in 2020. I started coaching in 2020. I
Okay.
actually went to China in January 2020 when COVID was just
Oh,
starting up.
wow. Yeah.
So I thought, oh, okay, let me go to China for 1 month and figure out this whole coaching thing, because I'm not in Vancouver and I can't teach workshops.
Uh-huh.
But um, I went there, and then the day I got there was the day that Wuhan got locked down. So I came back after 5 days,
Oh
and then
my.
I'm like in quarantine.
Oh. How long were you in quarantine
Yeah,
for when you came back to Vancouver?
just 2 weeks at home.
2 weeks at home. That's still a long time. So what was going in your head during time? So you had this plan of going to China, spending a month there, and just the whole coaching business thing. But then COVID hit, and then now you're
COVID
back in
hit in
Vancouver.
China.
So what was the thought process during that time when you were in quarantine?
Yeah, I was around that time. I started my free Facebook group,
Oh,
Calligraphy
okay.
Business Bosses.
Mhm.
So I started that about I would say maybe a couple of weeks before I went to China, and I was starting to do some free trainings
Mhm.
because that's what I saw a lot of other coaches do. Like
Yeah.
first you just try to do some free coaching, do some free trainings, you know, just make your audience, just let them know that like you're like the expert, like you
Okay.
can help them. So I was doing some free trainings. I was planning to do more in China, but I came back. And so I just thought, okay, maybe I'll just continue to do the free trainings. And in quarantine, that's when I hired my first business coach. So she's a coach that helps coaches.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
the
Makes sense.
thought process, yeah, the thought process was basically, I've been wanting to do this for so long, and I feel like I'm not making so much progress, and I'm scared to actually put out a paid program. Even though right now I'm doing some free trainings, those are going well, but I just have no idea what to do.
Right.
And I knew it would be a good investment. And I was following my coach for quite a while. Her name is Kristen Kaczynski. And so I just reached out to her, and then we had a call, and then I thought, okay, she's gonna be my coach. Let me hire her.
The thing with mentorship and coaching, right? I think it somehow when I look online, it's like I don't want to say mainstream, but it kind of peaked. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm just starting to see it now that I'm looking into it directly, but um, I think it's been around. But then when COVID hit, right, people started to pivot their businesses, and a lot of people are doing mentorship and coaching. But for people like who is not well versed into the whole mentorship and coaching program, of course money is always an issue for people. Mindset, of course, is different when you start to see money from a different perspective. But for most people in general, when you look at the price tag, it's kind of
Okay.
yeah,
I
it's
was shocked.
it's expensive. And I mean, hearing you talk about it, why you decided to hire a coach is because you thought that you needed it to equip you to be a coach. Can you add more into that, Nina, or is my assessment correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So I felt like I couldn't go any further by myself. Like I was doing the free trainings, I coached some people for free, but then I had no idea.
Mhm.
And I also thought, well, maybe it would be helpful if I have a coach
Uh-huh.
so I know what coaching is like, so I can be a coach. That was the other thing.
Got
And I think you're right, the investment for a coach is like it could be a couple $1,000s, right?
Mm.
But is it actually expensive? Because for what you get, like let's say you spend let's just say it's $2,000 to hire a coach.
Yeah.
You spend $2,000, but after you work with this coach, how much more money are you going to make? If yeah, compared to if you hadn't had the coach.
Mhm.
So I hired my coach, and I can truly say I've made, I guess, okay, in my first couple of months being a coach, like I made back the investment by multiple times. So it was very, very worth it for
Okay.
me. It's just you have to put in the initial amount,
Mhm.
and there has to be like an element of trust. You need to trust yourself, you need
Mhm.
to trust the coach,
Uh-huh.
and trust that everything's going to work out. Yeah, but I was scared. Like that was the most money I spent
Uh-huh.
outside of like paying for university tuition.
Right. Yeah.
I've never spent that much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I heard from what you're saying, Dina, is that you saw coaching as an investment. Hiring a coach was an investment for you rather than an expense because you saw the value. And I think that's when you said earlier about giving free trainings, and when you hired your coach, how long was the entire training, and when was the time that you said that, okay, I am ready, I am fully equipped, and then I know that I can add value and I can teach people um, to do their business as calligraphers?
Yeah. I think before I hired her, I knew that I could help people.
Mhm.
I was just scared.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I started working with her, and about maybe 3 to 4 weeks later, I started promoting like my first one-on-one coaching
Yeah.
program. And obviously the prices are much lower than what I would charge today because I was just starting out. So I was promoting those. But yeah, I knew that I could help people. It's just I didn't know how to sell the coaching program. I didn't know how to structure it. I
Structure.
didn't know how to do a sales call, like a
Uh-huh.
discovery call.
Yes.
I had no idea, but I
Mhm.
knew that because of my experience, like being a calligrapher, doing the workshop, selling the cards, and quitting my job, and I went to business school.
Mhm.
I knew that I could give advice to calligraphers. I just didn't know how to sell the thing,
So I think
how
the
to
missing
market
piece was
it.
the structure, because you already have
Yeah.
the idea, the big idea that I can coach. I have the
Yeah.
experience because you've been teaching calligraphy. You are, like you were hands on. You know the ins and outs of the business, but it's more on like what you said, the process of launching it and then making people
Yeah.
know what you're offering out to the world. So,
That's
okay.
correct.
So after, so you said 4 weeks. So how was the first coaching, the very first client? Yeah,
Very first.
yeah, the very first one.
Oh, we talked about mindset the whole time because
Mindset.
I was so scared. Like I thought, oh, I've only quit my job. It's only been like 7 months. How can I be a coach? There are other coaches or there are other calligraphers who have been doing this for 10 years and I don't know, they're not coaching. And I've only been doing calligraphy for not even 2 years. How
Mhm.
can I be a coach? And I thought, oh, like people think I'm young. They're not gonna think I'm a coach because
Mhm.
I look young. Or
Mhm.
they think, or no one in the calligraphy world knows about what a coach does. So why would they hire a coach? Like I had so many
So
of
many
those.
questions. Yeah.
Which I think it's very similar to when anybody is starting a business, like a lot of self-doubt, questioning yourself, and you're
Mhm.
not sure.
Mhm.
So that was my first meeting with my coach, like just talking through all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was still those questions and fears, and I think we're prone to that, right? There's always this um things that would scare us into starting, especially when, like what you said in the beginning of anything. So the first one-on-one coaching that you did, so you said you talked about mindset. How was that experience? I mean, after that, was there a sense of, let's say, I can absolutely do this. I mean, I could really, I know that I can help people, but it's sort of like segmented the whole idea. Was that the experience?
Yeah, I think for the first, I guess maybe for the first 2 to 3 months of me
Yeah.
being a coach, I was very nervous
So
and
understandable.
I didn't have that much confidence. Like I think I had to slowly build it up. I remember the first ever like discovery call that I did and I was so nervous. I was shaking, but I just tried to like fake it till you make it. I just
Yeah.
tried to be confident.
Uh-huh.
And like the first couple of calls I had, like I don't think I think they were okay. Like I did get clients,
Mhm.
but I think compared to when I first started, like right now I'm way more confident. And I think for anyone starting a business, I think everybody has to go through that journey of building confidence. And it's a slow process. Like
Mhm.
you get one customer and your confidence goes up like this a
Yeah.
little tiny bit.
Mhm.
Then you do something else. Then your
Yeah.
confidence goes up like that. And then
Uh-huh.
maybe you get an email from someone that your free content is good. Then you confidence goes up a
Confidence
little
boost.
bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like such a slow, like I
It's
didn't have like a
process.
whoop, my confidence just
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of a sudden.
I think you're.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you touched on that, Dina, because when people look at coaches, right, and you have a ton of resources. I mean, a ton of coaches online that would say, "I can take you and promise you like a 5 figure or a 6 figure in this span of time and boost your confidence and all that in this span of time." But what I heard when you said that it's a process. It's not an
Yeah.
overnight thing So, okay, so you said 2, 3 months and after coaching, and then finally now that you're more confident um, teaching and coaching other people within the calligraphy industry, can you tell us about a time? I'm not really familiar with how the coaching business works, but of course there will be clients, right? That they have all this mindset, especially those who are really scared. And okay, they hired a coach, but they're simply in the position of I am stuck, or I honestly don't know if this is really what I want. I mean, I'm not sure if you've had those types of clients, but how do you maneuver, or how do you navigate through that?
I think everybody is a bit different. Some
Mm.
people know for sure they want to
Yeah.
do this. Some
Uh-huh.
people think maybe they want to do this, so they're trying it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's a bit different.
Mhm.
But I think, well, whenever I start coaching with anyone, whether it's a one-on-one client or my
Mhm.
group coaching program, Calligraphy Business Accelerator, the first thing I start off with is mindset.
Mindset.
Because honestly, I think, and you probably know this too, like starting
Yeah.
a podcast and your own art
Sure.
business, right,
Mhm.
Jesse? That mindset is the cause of most of our problems.
It's
Like,
true.
it's not because we don't know how to make a website, or like we can Google that, right?
Yeah, the
Or
how
we don't
part.
know
Yeah.
how to do watercolor. We can watch YouTube videos, but
Yes.
it's really our mindset that keeps us stuck. But I think as long as you have, and you don't need a lot of courage. Like, I don't think I had that much courage. You mentioned, like, Dina, you had courage, but I think I just had a little bit of courage. Like, that's all it takes to start something.
Start something.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a lot of download from what you're saying. So when we talk about launching something, you said the first one was to go or show up from a position of giving, from a place of giving, and that's exactly what you did. You shared a lot of free resources for people to consume content, and you gave all those out for free. And we also touch on you having even just a little bit of courage despite all those fears. And I'm when I was listening you tell your story, it's so inspiring and encouraging that despite all of those fears, you had a lot of questions, even at the point that you are all equipped, you're very much ready, but all of these questions. And I think sometimes it's a good thing in a way to bring us to the reality. It's also humbling, I guess, to really see that, hey, I still have a lot to learn, but this is what I have. And I think it's good enough to add value to someone else. So thank you for sharing those points, Dina. Now, I would like to
Thank
dive
you.
into the accelerator. That idea came about. Can you tell us more about that program, what it does for calligraphers, and just the journey of arriving into that program?
Like, it is a 4-month group coaching program
Okay.
specifically for calligraphers.
Uh-huh.
So for calligraphers who want to make money doing workshops or weddings or on-site calligraphy, selling cards,
Yeah.
starting a shop, basically anything
Anything.
calligraphy
Mhm.
related. If you want to be a calligrapher,
Mhm.
then yeah, this program is for you. So um, it's 4 months long, and there's like weekly or bi-weekly calls with me, so me and the
Oh,
group.
okay.
And there's also a Facebook group community, so there's that community support. And there's also some course modules. Like, I've recorded videos of me explaining how to do things, like how do you set up your Instagram and optimize it?
Yeah.
How do you network, and how do you do phone calls
Mhm.
with potential clients? How do you price things? So I have some like informational videos. And so it's essentially like a 4-month journey that calligraphers go on with me and a group of calligraphers. And at the end of it, they should feel more confident
Mhm.
and have a plan, like a solid plan of what they're doing in their business.
Mhm.
And most of them have made sales during the program, like they've sold their calligraphy.
I'm glad you pointed that last part because I know someone in specific who has joined your program, and I was really amazed of her growth. from last year up until now, and she was actually the reason why I get to know
Yeah.
you. Yeah, well, who's Dina? Calligraphy, and yeah, so I was just inspired because I saw her attending your program, and the confidence
Hmm.
that was built
Yeah.
in her,
She
and
grew a
her,
lot. I'm really proud of her.
yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about fatemanship, pow. So you
Yeah.
guys can check out her profile. But yeah, it was really inspiring to see her growth all throughout, and that's because she attended your program. And one thing that I also uh one of the highlights as well, when I was listening to you talk about the program, is it's 4 months, and that's very long for a program to run, to coach. um why so generous with the program, Dina? Because more normally for some coaches that I know, it's either 2 months or 12 weeks or
Yeah.
8, yeah, but not 4 months.
Yeah, actually, it used to be 3 months when I
Uh-huh.
first did it. It
Yeah.
used to be 3 months the first two times, and
Hmm.
then the next two times I changed it to 4 months
Hmm.
because I noticed that so for so for the more advanced topics like networking, you sometimes people can't find the right networking event. So I basically just it's I would say it's the same level of support, but just stretched out.
Okay.
So when it was 3 months, I had a call every week. But with the 4 month program, the first 5 weeks is a call every week. And then after that, it's a call every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So they have more time to implement everything, but you still get the support. So I would say it's just kind of a bit stretched out more. And
Uh-huh.
if it's like a 2 month program, you can start a business, but like a business takes time, and you know that, right? um, Doing anything takes time, and so I
Yes.
really wanted to make sure that everybody going into the program leaves the program feeling very confident and knowing what they're doing, and like they have all the tools.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like it, Dina, because what I'm hearing from you is that you're at the beginning. You said it's weekly call, so you're really holding their hands at the start, at the beginning, and then it's going to be weekly. So what I'm seeing from the program, based from what you've shared, is that you're really into the transformation and more on the results, rather than just more people to sign up the accelerator. Of course, that's also the goal, right? For more and more people to sign up the course, but 4 months, and you said that it has to be stretched out because it takes time. And I think what the
Hmm.
difference that I'm seeing, from because I've been doing a lot of research as well for other programs, is that some programs, they would just give everything to you all in one go, and then you study it in your own, self pace. And then there would be calls,
Yeah.
right? There would be group calls. There is this,
Self-paced course.
yeah. There's also a community, but the coach herself or himself will not be as hands on like what you're doing, especially in the first 2 months. So I think that's if you guys are listening or watching the pod, you should definitely check out the Calligraphy Business Accelerator, because hearing from Dina, and I know someone who can attest to her coaching skills, is that you are really into the transformation of the people who are signing up, and you want them to leave the program feeling confident to go out there
Hmm.
and sign up their clients or sell their business. So I want to touch on about purpose and service, because when you initially started, the goal when doing the workshop was, I want to earn, because there was a need for it. The mindset then was, I need to earn more. So you accepted more and more workshop opportunities. But then something changed. And everything that you're doing now is rooted more on, I want to help people.
Hmm.
What can you because I think that's the difference with people who are coaching and creating a business, is that what is your purpose, what is the why behind what you're doing. So can you give us a little bit more about that, Dina? as to we heard it through the this interview of how you started, but can you expand a little bit more on that, on the vision and
Yeah.
mission of Dina Calligraphy, and of course
Yeah,
the
for sure.
CBA? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at the beginning when I was like selling the cards and doing the workshops, I just wanted to have, I guess, a side business. Like that
Yeah.
was my goal. I
Mhm.
wanted to just make money on the side.
Right.
But then it became a thing where I like it. I did want to make money when right after I quit my job. That's why I did way more workshops.
Mhm.
But then it gets, and the workshops are fulfilling because like you are helping people find a new hobby and you're meeting new people.
Yeah.
But I thought could there be something that's even more
Mhm.
impactful, like something that can help people like improve their lives a lot. Like
Mhm.
if I teach someone calligraphy, maybe they learn a new hobby, but actually most people who take my workshops, they don't continue calligraphy.
That's common. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just do it for a one-time event.
Mhm.
But with what I'm doing now, I really love it because it's like some of my clients, my coaching clients and my students have quit their jobs, which is I'm mind blown.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm so honored that I could like be part of their journey helping them quit their
Mhm.
jobs. Obviously, they did all of the work.
Right.
I just talked to them, right? To
You were the
tell them,
nudge that they
do this, this,
needed.
this, maybe you
Yeah.
should do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did all the work.
Mhm.
And when I see that and I see how someone's life can change, someone's career can change, and now they have like not everyone wants to quit their job, but even if they have part-time income from doing their calligraphy business,
Mhm.
that has a lot of impact. Like they can go on one more vacation or they can buy things for their kids or I mean they can do whatever they want with the money, but it really does make a big impact and it makes people happy. Like
It's true.
people want to start a business and makes them happy. And like if I can help people start a business, and what if they inspire somebody else to start a business?
That's a
Then
ripple.
it's like a web,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
true.
so that's I mean sometimes like meetings might be tiring
Mhm.
if you have a lot
Yeah.
or like doing a launch might be tiring, but at the end of the day it's like I'm really happy that I can help people and actually see a big change in their life and be part of that.
Thanks, Dina. I think overall, you talk about the mission and vision of Dina Calligraphy is that, especially the CBA, the accelerator.
Yep.
I like when you pointed out that you want to be part of the change. You want to see people's lives change to it. But launching a business, specifically calligraphy, that takes heart and commitment. And so you are the force and the catalyst that's driving them through this program to push through with it. And because I think that's important, like what you said, why do you need a coach to begin with, right? And you hired a coach because you want to put a structure on the idea, and then now people are coming to you because they also need structure. They have the skills, but they don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
sell it to the world and make people see it. So Dina, I got a lot of actually my notes, and I'll be taking a lot from this interview. I'll be writing it down. I'm sure a lot of people who will be listening to this podcast are very much interested some like a high level overview of everything that we've talked about. So I normally ask this at the last part of the interview, is that if you can give three golden nuggets for anyone who's listening, whether they are in the, I posted this yesterday about why and being in the crossroad because of your self doubts. So if there are three golden nuggets that you can with our
Yep.
listener, with our audience, about starting, or if you are on the fence whether you want to hire a coach or not, or if you want to ask for help or not. So can you give us three?
Yeah, I would say definitely don't do it alone.
Mhm.
So, and that doesn't mean you need a coach. Like, as maybe you can find other calligraphy people, right?
Mhm.
And you guys can help each other. You don't necessarily need a coach, but obviously a mentor or a coach can help. Don't do it alone because you'll just feel stuck. Second one I would say is just start small and see if you can test things out in a small way before, because when you start a business, a lot of things they seem so big and scary. But like I mentioned before earlier, you can start teaching friends at your house, or
Mhm.
maybe make some gifts for your friends, and you can start off that way. Just
Mhm.
test things out. Two are very important.
Those two are very important. So first was don't do it alone. And like what Dina said, it doesn't have to be a coach, but I think what I heard from that is you need to have some sort of accountability.
Yeah, and some kind of community.
Community. Yeah, that's absolutely true. You really need someone, or at least, yeah, a community or yeah, a coach definitely to help you, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
resources and it can be very overwhelming if you search just by yourself, right? But like for me, listening to you on this interview, I picked up a lot, and that's because I found you within the community, right? So
Yeah, that's
the
a great
yeah,
example.
that's a very great example, right? I mean, we would be doing this if had I didn't show up on Instagram, I didn't connect with Bao, I didn't. So, guys, if you listen to those two golden nuggets from Dina, please those list down because those are really, really important. Dina, can you tell us what's in the pipeline for Dina Calligraphy? I know people are interested to find out what you have. Is the program still running? Is the CPA still running?
It is currently running. Yeah, there are two groups doing it right now. And I will be relaunching it sometime in the fall
Okay.
this year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So okay, so for those who missed, I'm sure this run of the CBA. They call it CBA. I kept using
I
the
do call
acronym.
it I do call it CBA sometimes, but I think sometimes people might not, especially if like they're a new
There are a
follower, they
lot.
might not know. So I
Okay.
know it's a very long name, but I always try to say it. But I do like use
Use the
CBA as
acronym. I
a
think
abbreviation.
use the
Yeah.
acronym for people who already know
Yeah.
about the program, but say Calligraphy Business Accelerator. So if you guys are interested in that, and sorry you missed out on this run, but you have a chance to sign up for it later in the fall, please do check out. You have a website, right? You do have a
I do.
website,
Yeah. DinaCalligraphy.com.
dinacalligraphy.com, and Instagram, it's the same thing, Dina Calligraphy.
Same thing.
Okay, and
Yeah.
YouTube.
I also have a YouTube.
Yeah, please do talk about your YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
YouTube. Just search Dina Calligraphy.
It's just okay. So wow, that's consistent. YouTube, Instagram, and then the website.
Yeah.
It's all Dina Calligraphy. So it's very easy to remember, guys. So, Dina, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. I can't thank you enough. You've been so generous with those points and for being so open to share those that journeys, the circumstance with your mom. I hope she's doing well. I mean, it's COVID and all, and I know mental health is something that a lot of people struggle with, especially now. But thank you for
Mm-hmm.
sharing a piece of that, and your journey, how you started those fears, those imposter syndrome. That, what you said, a little bit of courage, but look at where you are now. So guys, if you listen to her talk about her journey or at this episode, I hope that those are one of the major takeaways from this episode is that do not let your circumstance, your fears, those imposter syndrome, those negative voices that you've been hearing to be a hurdle to whatever it is that you really want to do. And if you really need help with whatever it is that you're planning to launch, hiring a coach wouldn't hurt. And it is not an expense, but more of an investment. So, Dina, thank you again for being on the show. I look forward to seeing more of you on the gram, or we can
Thank
DM. And
you, Jessie.
there is another episode, maybe, who knows, that I think you'll be a good resource. I hope that you would still say yes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but thank you again for being on the show. And guys, thank you for tuning in to the Wednesday Creative Check In. You can find this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and I started recording Zoom conference calls. So I asked Dina to that I will be recording this, and you will also find this on YouTube via Artsy Jessie. So thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, please stay safe, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye.